And I'm excited. Got Dr. Aaron Chapa, got future Dr. Molly here in studio as well. And we're going to be talking and learning about health, wellness, taking a natural approach. If you're watching, share this out. Tag a friend. Let me know where you're watching from. We're going to have some fun. Here we go.
99.5 FM.
Good morning. This is KHEA Radio. This is Kickstart. My name is Gardy. I got some guests and some friends in studio. I got Molly and Dr. Chapa with Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. Molly, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, Gardy. How are you?
I'm excited that you're here. I was calling you out on Facebook last week. I was like, where's Molly? But you were working.
I was working.
You're working.
I was judging some high school debates.
That's cool.
It was a blast.
Dr. Chapa, how you doing this morning?
I'm fantastic, Gardy. How are you?
You had some fun before you came in.
I did. I got to ride a one-wheeled skateboard.
They just call them a one-wheel.
A one-wheel.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never seen such a thing. It was my first experience, and the minute I saw it, I was in love.
You're a natural.
Apparently. I jumped right on and took right off.
How is that?
Never came back.
How is that?
Well, I did come back. I'm here. I made it to the show. And so I like – Molly and I just happened to be discussing a topic about continued learning as we get older.
Okay.
Not only continue learning via a one-wheeled device.
Yes.
Oh.
Before we got here, like literally, we're exiting Delaney, listening to a story.
This weekend, I met a guy, 70 years old, learning. Well, he's been riding the unicycle since he was 8, but he's teaching himself how to ride an ultimate wheel. An ultimate wheel is a wheel with pedals and no seat. 70 years old, learning new things.
So you just balance and stand up?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and pedal. So
And
it's
pedal.
a lot of
You have to
coordination.
continue
and
going, right? Don't stop, I
Right.
assume.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It could be just like any of those things. I mean, those guys can stop, stand, and just balance.
Jump from place to place.
Like this
It's
guy
incredible.
he can basically
Mountain bike
on a one wheel.
No, not on a one wheel. On a unicycle.
What are the benefits of having good balance?
So cerebellar activity. So like in the brain, you have at the bottom of the brain, just above the brainstem, these two little Princess Leia pom-poms called your cerebellum, and it is your coordination and balance department in the brain. And when the cerebellum is communicating effectively to the cortices, your cortex, you have a higher resonant frequency running throughout all aspects of your body electrically. You're like more electrically active. So you can, just like when you go walk, you don't consciously think about where your feet are, but your brain cerebellum knows where your feet are and how and what's going to hit first and when and what speed and how it's going to respond to the impact of the joint compression going in through the feet up to the knees, up to the hips, and through the spine, and all the way up through your spinal column and into your brain, and your body's processing information at all points in time. And so that effectiveness in getting a message from head to foot and foot to head in a timely manner prevents injury, but more importantly, it increases longevity. I mean, the more neural pathways you have alive, viable, active,
the more likely you'll be learning how to ride a unicycle,
at 70.
ultimate wheel at 70 years old.
That's I think maybe the goal at this point. I mean, I'm thinking, golly, I need to order me a unicycle and just start working on that.
Dr. Chapa, I can imagine you riding a unicycle around Christmas time and your buddy the elf.
Dude,
get up.
You've just given me something to aspire to.
That was a God idea. That was not me. I can't take credit for that. Some things are only inspired by the Holy Ghost.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So
Thank you.
it's I think it's learning is a pretty powerful thing. And so she was telling me this great story about this guy, and I'm just listening, going, I like just random, amazing experiences. And I met a guy who he was a bellman at the Swan Hotel in Florida, and I had a 5-minute conversation, and let me see if I can pull it. What he said, I wrote it down. It was I thought it was so. Oh no, yeah, the rest. There it is. Yeah, here it is. So it was from a man named Borman Rafael Viscano Tavard. How about that?
That's a cool name.
That's a really cool
It's way
name.
cooler than my
That
name.
was the bellman at the Swan Hotel, and this is like in 2013. So this is like a long while ago, and but he goes, I used to stress out about everything in my life until I started to watch how my 8-year-old little boy wakes up happy every morning and seizes every day. Now, when I wake up in the morning, I think the rest is extra. Isn't that a good word? That was from Bellman. And I was like, yes, I'm totally writing that down.
So does he have a book or?
No.
Bummer.
He just, it made me think about, what the famous movie Ferris Bueller said. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, and take a look at life moves pretty fast. And if you don't stop and look around once in a while, you can miss it. And so I just thought, man, that was really cool. And so I like stuff like that. And then so when Kurt rolled up in the parking lot, I said to myself, why has he got a helmet on? He got out of his car. I was like, has he been banging his head on the steering wheel?
I've been encouraging him to wear one now.
Yeah,
just for a while now.
Has he got like a little asylum in his car? And I'm like, he's gone crazy. I was like, Gardy and I are gonna have a talk this morning.
Yes.
But no, I said, why the helmet? And he goes, you didn't hear? I said, no.
Everybody knows about my life.
Yeah, that's right. And Molly goes, he has a one wheel. And I'm like, how do you know this? She goes, I know everything. And I'm like, okay, apparently I'm out of the loop of this.
Yeah.
And so he shows up with this one wheel, and I'm like,
And then drool starts rolling down his
I'm like,
chin.
well, we're going to be late to the show this morning.
Yeah.
Gardy, I swear we were here early.
So, yeah, man. So I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here this morning.
I'm excited that you're here. So we have some supplements that are hanging out.
Well, before we get to those, I have a quick story, and it may lead right in. Actually, we're going to just jump right in. So we're talking about the nutritional gap, right? We're talking about reading food labels. We're talking about how to be healthy. The Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center aspires to be your number one health and wellness resource for all your health and wellness needs. We are an alternative to drugs and surgery. We want to help you see a better path, and that it only takes 1 degree of change to influence your health in a better direction. Wouldn't you agree, Molly?
I would, absolutely.
I mean, have you seen that in the practice as you've been now working with patients and now seeing patients evolve with when you shadow us and hang out with us?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, people want information, and they want if they know what's right, they'll do what's right.
And I think a lot of times what's interesting about that is, people, I've found that many conversations with the Western medicine practices of the day, they believe that patients won't change.
Yeah.
And
it's a hopeless mindset.
It is. And I think that's why they find themselves only prescribing medications, and they're not really looking to give them anything new or extra to help build a better life.
I agree.
So here's it is. So I think we have the wrong definition of health. And so we want to help you rebuild it. So here's what the Cambridge Dictionary says about health. The condition of the body and the degree to which it is free from illness and symptoms.
Read that again.
The condition of the body and the degree to which it is free from illness and or symptoms.
So let's think about it. So what is wrong? What is wrong with this definition?
I know. I think it's the part where it says the degree, meaning that everybody's dealing with something, and it's just like how much illness do you have? How much sickness do you have?
How do we measure this? Like, am I not healthy until I am permanently free from all symptoms?
Well, I'm pretty sure I've read and heard that true being free from all that is like would be heaven.
Heaven, that's what I was going to say.
Like let's just die.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, no, we're not ready. we still have work to do.
That's the answer to this. That's the answer to this definition.
But it is interesting because you said that you hated this definition.
I do hate this definition.
And I think that there is who's not suffering with symptoms? I mean, everybody has symptoms. You've heard me say if you were born with a symptom pattern, then that might be one situation, right? But if you develop symptoms as you age, your body can undevelop them. And I think people miss that idea. They've just been chalked up or lied to or marketed to believe that you're born with that you have these symptoms, blood pressure issues, arrhythmias, palpitations, maybe migraines or headaches, or maybe belly pain, acid reflux, indigestion, and that these are symptom patterns that you were not genetically born with, right? But you develop it over time, and then you sit around and you go, well, I guess this is just the way it is.
But wait. Our definition of health is absence of these symptoms. That's our definition. And that's our definition that most medical practitioners are trained to know and memorize. And so if they're told that that health is absence of symptoms, but they're stuck with all these patients with symptoms that they don't think that they can reverse or improve, then like why
you put a blanket on it.
It's hopeless.
You cover it up.
What can I do to help you? What can I do to help you? What I can do to help you is cover up your symptoms.
You know, that's funny. With it being Easter, we took communion, and Pastor Josh always talks about, you know, how there was the fall and sin, and he uses the reference of one of his kids or himself. Like, if there's a mess, I'm just going to put a blanket on it, hide it. The mess is still there. It's covered up. Yeah. I can't see it. Maybe I feel better in my head, but the underlying issue is still there. And then when, you know, Jesus came, that was the whole thing.
I think you'll probably trip over the rug.
And then you trip over the rug.
Dang it.
So it's like, but if you eliminate the undercause issue and you don't have to cover it up with a blanket anymore, that's whenever there was like true forgiveness.
So like our covering of sins isn't just covering, right? It's a cleansing.
The issue, the root. What's the actual cause? What's the problem?
And I think that if we get to the idea first that anything your body can develop, it can also undevelop. We have a hope that there's something that I'm doing that I can change in order to make a difference in where I'm at, and going forward I can be, you know, feeling differently. And I think we just have to start appreciating that philosophy first. So I share that with this idea, going into this idea that I had a patient come in, and she told me that she couldn't take my supplements anymore because they were upsetting her stomach, or they were causing her to have some sort of, you know, issue.
I thought you were going to say upsetting the doctor.
Yeah. No.
That happens, but not this patient.
Not this time. Okay.
In this case, correct. And thankfully, she's been a patient a long time, so I know she can take supplements. I mean, she's done it a long time, but she had some sort of a little, you know, procedure done, and all of a sudden now she can't. Well, and she had this bag of product or something in the bag next to her, and I said, well, what's in the bag? She goes, oh, I brought you some stuff I want you to look at and test for me and tell me if it's any good. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I said, well, I mean, what is it? She goes, oh, it's the food that I'm eating. And I'm like, oh, okay. So in my head, I'm thinking to myself, if a person can't take real food, you know, vitamins and supplements, there's something else wrong. You know what I mean?
If you can't metabolize and absorb the food God created, it's like God created the food for you to nourish you and to heal you.
And by definition, food in the Webster's Dictionary says it should sustain us, it should rebuild us, it should give us energy and revitalize life. You know, food by definition.
Right. So nutrients are anything your body uses to restore normal function. Toxins are anything your body can't use. So if your nourishment is becoming your toxicity, then there's something else going on.
So we have to ask some questions there. So I'm like, okay, you know, let's just see where this goes, and we'll just see what kind of story that, you know, God paints for me. Mm-hmm. And so I've been entertaining this for a couple weeks now. I've been just looking at this bag because I asked her to leave me the bag because everything was shocking to me. Not really, but kind of. So, you know, first and foremost, she had the I did bring some for you to
so you
show
brought
and
some
tell.
In the bag?
Show
okay,
and tell.
What do we got?
So the first thing that was brought in was some peanuts.
Planters, salted peanuts.
Okay, so, I mean, everybody knows these guys, and, I mean, he's a little famous little peanut. The second thing was some
like Chex
Mix or something. Little ginger snap cookies.
Can I eat any of this?
No.
Quit drooling.
Yeah, no. Eat, Kurt. Don't pay attention. Cover your ears, Kurt. I know. We got some saltines. We've got some sugar-free vanilla cookies.
Okay.
All right. We have a Powwow Blow Pop.
Are we going through the whole bag?
Oh yeah, we're going to go through the whole bag.
Just
yeah, because I want
to
to make it. You know, this is interesting to me.
These are
right?
actually pretty good, guys. I'm sorry.
It looks like a half a bagel. And we got another hard little candy here. We have another type of cracker. We've got some Hershey Kisses. This one's really cool. This is called a Zolly Pop, so at least it's sugared with xylitol. And another type of cracker. We've got, finally, a little bit of protein, a little beef jerky. We've got another carameled candy. We've got another shortbread cookie. And we've got a graham cracker. Can't have a complete day without a graham cracker. And my favorite of all, fruit by the foot. I just found it interesting that supplements are hurting her tummy, but none of this is contributed to hurting thy tummy. And what happens is we don't realize something, is that we have been lied to. We have been marketed to believe that the stuff that I just presented is in everybody's menu, for the most part, as food. But nothing in these foods is nourishing or going to be sustainable to life.
Why would you even want to eat these tiny little crackers? What are they going to do? Like, in what?
I don't know.
What way?
They just look different.
Tiny
right?
tuna, like you have a tiny tuna can. It's the only thing I'm thinking of.
So let's just look at a simple supplement. And we're just looking at labels, supplement facts. Right?
Okay.
So every supplement has to have, by the standard of care, have a supplemental fact. And so the proprietary blend, 312 milligrams of organic beets, roots, organic beet leaves, organic beet juice powder, and a little bit of oat flour. Okay, so there you go. That's then a product called Beta Food. And so interesting, what that product is so powerful to do is to upregulate liver function. And so if we can improve the liver, I mean, how many people are eating beets today, Molly, you think? Yeah. How many you think?
Just you?
Yeah, maybe.
That's it?
Maybe 1 out of 3.
Yeah.
1 out of 10, 1 out of 100. I don't know. It's probably going to be a pretty low percentage, as we're going to see here in a moment. But here we have to ask the question: if beets upset a person's stomach, we have to say to ourselves, is it the beets, or is it my body's upregulated system can't keep up with the potency of drive that's creating for my body? Right?
Right. That makes more sense.
I mean, the body is responding to whatever we're putting in. If you put in toxic fuel, you're going to run not so well. If you put in vibrant foods and nourishment, your body's going to, boom, it's going to get a bump. And if the body is capable of handling the bump in energy and productivity, then you're not going to get a negative response. And then we look at, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later, another one called Catalin. This is for kids. Catalin chewable. It's got, obviously basic vitamins, but it also has defatted wheat germ. It's got calcium lactate, organic carrots, sweet potatoes, nutritional yeast. It's got organ parts in it, like adrenal, liver. It's got some spleen in it. This stuff here has 15 foods in it. It's got 200 phytonutrients and phytochemicals in it. It is a powerful, wonderful
you taking some?
multivitamin.
Absolutely.
Yeah, give some to Gardy. He gets excited.
It's chewable, right?
Yes,
Oh,
that
yeah.
one happens to be chewable.
You take 2?
Yes, or take
Just
5.
a handful,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, well,
It's food, remember?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, and it is.
I am a little hungry.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
yeah, I'm so glad we
Brought
thinking about you.
breakfast.
Not the others, just the bottles. So, in a 2018 study, the risk of myocardial infarction in cases living with cardiovascular disease could be reduced by more than 80% with nutrition playing a key role.
2018 study.
I mean, this is like new science. Food is medicine.
Whoa!
I
Incredible.
I go back to, let's see if I can find this one real quick. This is a fun.
How empowering is that? That 80, what is that? Reduced by more than 80%, and it's all in your control?
Yes.
I mean, who controls what you put in your mouth?
Dr. Chapa when he's in studio.
yeah.
Catalin chewables only, even though I have cookies. Yeah.
Reduced by 80% just by what you put in your mouth. Like, that's amazing. That's incredible. That's very encouraging, I think.
Yeah. And only you can control what goes in your mouth. You know, you have to make that decision daily.
Right.
Sacrifice the cookies, graham crackers, shortbread, Chex Mix, and everything else, and eat the cattle and chewables.
So I like this. This is from, we were just talking about this fellow this morning, so it's interesting he's going to come up again. The great and wonderful Dr. Michael Dobbins, God rest his soul. This is from his History of Healing CD, and he says, 2000 BC, the prescription would have been, here, eat this root. We just talked about beetroots and stuff, right? That's pretty cool. 1000 BC, this root is heathen. This is like the new mantra, right? Here, say this prayer. But as time passed and we began to understand a few more things, 1850 rolls around, that prayer's superstition. Here, drink this potion. That's funny, right? And then 1940 AD, we're moving on up. That potion is snake oil. Here, swallow this pill. 1985, where a lot of us grew up, that pill is ineffective. Here, take this antibiotic. And that's what everybody's still doing, lots of them. 2000 AD, that antibiotic doesn't work. Here, try this cholesterol pill, this blood pressure pill, this joint pain pill, all these different varieties of pills, right? These anti-inflammatories. I mean, we are in an opioid crisis. Molly, Jennifer, and I went to a seminar last year, on the opioid crisis by one of our mentors and friends, Dr. Dan Murphy, and I had the good fortune of seeing him. And then we fast forward again, 2017, the pills for my ills don't work. Here, eat this root.
Interesting.
Well, eat this root. That's where we are, where we have come full circle back to where it all started, because the fundamental principles that have always provided for optimal human health are here, have always been here, and it's amazing. Because what is the assurance of victory passage, 1 Corinthians 10:13? It says, no temptation, no deficiency, no obstacle has overtaken us except such as common to man. But God is faithful, who will not allow us to be tempted or deprived more than we should be, but will always provide and make a way of escape so that we can find a way to the other side of whatever's in front of us as a health challenge when we're talking about health, or as a spiritual challenge when we're talking about spirituality. God has an answer, and when you talk to other people that have gone on safaris and they've gone into the jungles and they've gone into these remote areas, and they talk to these guides and they talk to these people that are living out in the sticks, literally. Interesting, they say for every poison that's out there, every stinging, venomous attacker that's out there in the wilderness, there is 2 to 3 to 4 antidotes in that local vicinity with the local prey that might be potentially either a venomous stinging insect or amphibious stinging, dart frog or whatever, or some sort of plant that can hurt you. And I just think that is awesome that for every one of those, there's 3 to 4 antidotes in that local department. It's like almost like God kind of knew what was going down. And so we've got to recognize that you are in more control of your health than you might realize.
Do you think the body's that way too? Like if there's a sickness, there's multiple probably things within arm's reach, of supplements or different ways you can, I guess, go about treating that?
I mean, what do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, if you have the right tools in front of you, you'll know what to grab. And with the guys who are wilderness fanatics and whatnot, they have the knowledge before or during to prepare them to go into that environment.
You mean
so
they have all the statistics? It's all written down in papers?
Absolutely not. No, but I mean,
it's written down on trees.
Yes, that's it.
They
carve it into trees.
I mean, because we got to have scientific literature, right?
Tree works for me.
But my point is they don't go to shortbread cookies and Chex Mix to
for their
nourish them, right?
Right.
And so if they're eating off the land, if they're eating food, then first of all, their body's more well equipped to handle the adversity that comes their way. But with that, with hunting for your food, with gathering your food, you'll learn what are I can eat this berry if I'm nauseous. I can eat this leaf if I have a headache, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just amazing of what people have passed down through the years. I mean, they've done expeditions and whatnot and found that people that are going up, coming to these expeditions, they show up with fake food, energy bars, processed food, things with
and
labels
it doesn't
on them.
work.
Like Survivor.
It doesn't work.
And
if they were to,
it doesn't work.
Yeah, go on Survivor and you got your Quest bar and your like energy drinks.
It's
and all
never
that
good
stuff.
whenever the guide takes your bag and is like 4 miles ahead of you because he's got the stamina, the endurance,
Or the cameraman.
and that's right. And they're in a better place, and they're living on the land, berries and stuff, or whatever meats they can find or scavenge for. I mean, they have tools.
But the reality is, if you're living in America today, this is a form of wilderness, okay? Like, the stress level that the average American is under, I would say is equal to, if not more, different, mind you, but equal to, if not more than some guy living off the land in the wilderness. Because it's constant.
Yeah.
And if this is the tools you have to nourish your body, you're screwed.
Yeah. I guess because if you're in the wilderness, the issues and stress may be like, where am I going to get my food?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got my food. Is there
and
something's
then I
going to
get to
attack
sleep
me?
at night.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I run from the tiger and I lay down.
And there's no stress if the tiger eats you while you're sleeping. So you don't even have to deal with that. So that's like an added.
Right.
Well, there's a little bit of, I think, if we're looking at this idea of running from a metaphoric grizzly bear, fighting the wilderness, scavenging for food. I mean, I think that there is what Molly's kind of saying is that there's a peak level stress, and then the stress goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I think in modern times where we are right now, a part of the issue that is disassociated but is relevant to the conversation is the stress that we live under, the timetables we live under, the pressures that we live under in modern society, being constantly on the show floor. You got somebody videoing you, when you're riding a unicycle. There's really nothing. When we look for opportunities to take big pictures,
right.
When your 5-year-old says, "Hey, Dad, take a picture of me," like I don't ever remember, being a 5 years old wanting to be photographed. I mean, I fought. My
I remember
mom
being 5 years old and not wanting to be photographed because I wanted to go play.
That's right. I have way more things I would rather
Mom.
do. I don't want
I
to
have
stop
to smile
and do
one
that.
more time.
And so, but the stress that people are under doesn't seem to release itself.
Mm-hmm.
They go to bed with stress. They wake up with stress. They live their day with stress, and then they're told that all the foods that all the sugar that I just showed you, is food.
And then their body loses the ability to handle nutrients.
Real food. And I think there's something very interesting. What do you mean the body loses? Well, I have these puppies at home, and they have their digestive system has to evolve. So I constantly am rotating different foods in, and I'm experimenting with them. They don't even know it. And and
he thought he got puppies, but really got guinea pigs.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm finding that you can't just throw all kinds of raw food at them and expect their little digestive tracts to handle it. You've got to evolve their digestive systems to be able to handle the microorganisms. And it's the same with your body. If you don't eat fiber, and then all of a sudden I drop a boatload of fiber in your system, I'm going to blow you up. Because I fed the wrong bugs too fast and they couldn't handle it. It upregulated the tissues, and you get this massive reaction. You've got to evolve the tissues. And people go, well, can I evolve my tissues to handle all that sugar? Well, yes, but yet there's no other nutrient in there, so you're actually starving. You're devoid of nutrients. Yes, you don't feel maybe hungry because you just keep pounding in the next cookie or the next lollipop.
All you're describing is an adaptation to stress.
And that's
we're
a
adapting
biochemical
to sugar,
stress.
we're adapting to sugar, we're adapting to sugar, we're adapting to sugar, and then you're just going to crash.
And it's it's only a matter of time. You can't outrun a bad
time
diet.
bomb.
Okay, here's a couple comments. The first one, and let me see. Nicholas he wants to know, he said, what's Dr. Chapa drinking? And I said, probably water. Then I looked down and I was like, that's definitely not water. So what are you drinking, Dr. Chapa?
So this is a wheatgrass. So today I am doing a juice fast from, and I'm using Maine Squeeze there in Webster. They do not pasteurize. They don't homogenize any of their juices, and they make some fantastic stuff. Jeff is amazing. He's a great dude and got several locations around in and around Houston. But today is a juice and water fast for me. And so I am drinking a Glow, which is apple, cucumber, kale, lemon, and spinach, and a wheatgrass and a water, and then supplements.
Is that a once a week thing or just every once in a while?
So as of the last month, it's been every Monday. I did not plan well. Sunday happened really fast, and it was Easter. And so when I called over, they weren't open, and then I just decided I was just going to push it to Tuesday. So, but it's every one day a week. I've been giving my digestive tract a break, as I've been giving my physical body a break from the gym, and I'm allowing my system to kind of recover inside and out, and then tackle it again tomorrow and see kind of what happens over the next 90 days.
Awesome.
And so I'm 4 weeks into that 90-day cycle. So, yeah, good question.
Here's another one. This is from Tammy, and Molly, I think, gave a bit of an answer, but maybe we can give one to the rest of our audience. Tammy said, sorry, I just logged on, watching on Facebook. I'm running from 2 tigers today. What should I do?
Oh, I say my favorite is Adaptogrin, Mintran, and Nevaton. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree.
Tammy
would agree, too.
And so, now, here's what I would suggest, though. You take 2 Adaptogrin because the enzymes, the stomach support, and the herbs that are in there will regulate adrenal function. It regulates cortisol function, and it helps to sustain the adrenal stress of the 2 tigers that are chasing you. Okay, the Nevaton is 4 different herbs: saffron, skullcap, shatavari, and damiana, and it calms the mind. It allows the mind to handle bandwidth. So instead of your fuse being, 6 inches, now I just lengthened it to 12 inches. So I doubled it. So now it doesn't mean that you should handle more stress. It allows you to handle stresses that are maybe unforeseen, because we can't always predict how we're gonna, what we're gonna deal with tomorrow, right?
You may know about 2 tigers, and then a third one pops up.
Yeah, that's right. And remember what the Bible says: today has enough worries of its own, right? And so we have to be mindful that we have to handle the day as the day comes, but what we were sitting here talking about is this adaptation to stress and your ability to do so. And a lot of people reach to this junk food as comfort food, right?
Yes.
They reach to it as a soothing, this feels good to my taste buds. This feels good to my body.
Well, that's the only part of your body that likes it.
And nothing below your taste buds wants it, for sure. And so the last thing is that increases the bandwidth for you to handle stuff. And then the Mintran allows your mental brakes to engage, your frontal lobe to stay intact. And why that's an important feature is if you don't have brakes, you're going to drive right off the cliff. And so you may need to dose every hour. So the way you assess that is if your stress seems to be a 7, 8, 9, or a 10 on a 0 to 10 scale, you got to put that Adaptogrin, Mintran, Nevaton in and allow the stress of a support that's coming in regulate how you're responding to the environment. And you can call our office, 281-554-8600. And what we do over here is we allow you to come and pick these things up. And don't be afraid to put 2 tablets, 2 capsules in every hour. If the stress is riding at a 7, 8, 9, or 10 all day, then you better support that engine so that you don't burn it up. And that's what happens to folks, is it burns up too quickly.
You're listening to KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it's 9:37. Talking to Molly and Dr. Aaron Chapa with Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center here in studio. We found out that Dr. Chapa is on a juiced fast.
Today, yes.
Feast today.
Yeah, I'm feasting today. Yes, it's good. So here's another cool study. Well, I don't know if it's a cool study. It's kind of a sad study. Yeah. We call this the 2.7. So
sad.
According to a study from the Mayo Clinic, only 2.7% of Americans live a healthy lifestyle.
Wait till you hear what a healthy lifestyle is. This is gold.
Oh, okay. Wait. Yeah. So what we have to now define the terms.
4 things. There's 4 things that contribute to a healthy lifestyle.
Okay.
You don't smoke. don't smoke.
I don't smoke.
Yeah.
Okay. You have a nutritious diet. We don't really know what that means.
Sure, I'll
They didn't
count it.
tell me
Yeah.
what that means.
I ate some Catalan earlier.
Yeah. So your
I'm
list
kidding.
today is
Counts.
good.
You have at least about an hour and a half of
Exercise.
exercise a week.
Definitely,
A
yes.
week, okay? And you have a low body fat percentage. That's a healthy lifestyle.
So it'd be like for men, less than 20%.
That's great. It's
less
good
than
news.
30%
Good
for
news.
women.
Most of us, the three of us, I think, kind of
Fit that
fit
category.
that category. 2.7% of Americans fit
Live.
that
That?
category.
Yeah. 2.7
2.7%
of Americans.
Now, is that our definition of a healthy lifestyle? Not necessarily. So I would venture to say this is a pretty generous estimate of Americans. But this generous estimate
I'm with you.
is 2.7%.
I think what we might say is, it may even be like,
2.7% of the 2.7%.
it might be. It might be. Yeah, I'm with you. And it's interesting because we can do better than that, guys.
That's right.
Every one of us can do better. And just because you don't smoke and you think you have a healthy diet and you exercise an hour and a half a week and your body fat's a little bit low, that I don't know if that is. You could have a monstrosity of other symptoms that aren't even listed here. Remember, if you have symptom patterns that you were not genetically born with, you are ill. Functionally ill. There's something breaking down in the body faster than it's able to regenerate, and we want to help you get the wheels turning in a different direction. And so I share some of these things because this is the facts. This is what Mayo Clinic statistical averages are showing. And when we look at the table here, we see a table full of sugar and people saying that they can't take nourishment. And I just think we ought to be a little bit more, have realistic expectations for what should be affecting us in a way that is beneficial and what isn't affecting us in a way beneficial. I had a guy come in yesterday, told me the same thing. I just can't take these things. They cause this, that, and the other. So I test his stomach. His stomach's wedged up on the wrong side of the diaphragm. I test the products. The products are fine. And his stomach was the issue. I was like, dude. And I asked him, I said, what kind of stress you going under? He goes, just lost his wife less than a month ago. He's got a grandson going to be moving down this summer and living with him permanently. He's got a lot of other stressors and deadlines at work and school. This guy doesn't have he's been a caregiver of this spouse for a length of time. And so what happens is how can a person? I mean, he's human. And when you're human, which most of us are, right?
Most,
yeah.
Speak for yourself.
I know there is that movie Men in Black where like the little skull cracks open, there's an alien comes out.
Mm-hmm.
They could be lurking in the shadows. My son said something really funny the other day. We were talking about aliens living on other planets, and he goes, I don't know if that's true. I said, but how do you know? I'm just messing with him. He goes, I really don't know, but if they are, I sure hope they're friendly. And I was like, well, okay. I was like, that's the best.
You got real quick. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, me too.
So let's get real for a second.
yeah.
So health, the ability to nourish the body, soul, and mind when faced with adversity, allowing normal function to be restored. Anything that you were not genetically born with, if you can develop it, you can undevelop it if you make some changes. So if we view health as an inability to become well rather than an unmeasurable degree of illness, it might be a reasonable goal for man to live well and lead a healthy lifestyle. And we just got to start putting the pieces together to help move people forward. So, we, Jennifer, Molly, and I, and Dr. Amber always share ideas. And, this one's from John Maxwell. And it's interesting because the question that is asked is a question that one of my mentors and friends who isn't